Thank you for joining me today. I will show you what you need and I will make a list of the items that you would need from absolute most basic setup to a better quality setup and quality of life improvements. So let's get into it. We will have 5 tiers from the absolute most basic, minimal, cheapest setup that you can have to a setup that will let you DJ for hours in the most convenient way possible, all without carrying multiple bags of items. If you want to have a house party with friends, if you're gonna play at the beach, probably you would like to carry as little as possible, not to make it a tiring experience. Because in the end, the idea and the purpose is also to have fun. This is what this setup is about. Every part of this video will feature Algoriddim's DJ app, and I will base all the setup in this video around DJ. Tier 1 setup, absolute minimal. The most basic thing in this setup is obviously a smartphone. It can be an iPhone or on any Android device. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I will use an iPhone 13. These days, most devices don't have a 3.5mm audio output. We will need to use at least one, and in many cases, multiple adapters, even to use a basic pair of headphones. Any Bluetooth headphones, even for practicing purposes or recording mixes, because of the amount of latency it adds to the audio. It might not feel that significant, but once you're performing, you will realize that you don't need that kind of latency, even if you are not doing This is why everything in this video is based on a wired setup. In this case, my iPhone only has a lightning port. This means I cannot use USB-C adapters and USB-C headphones, so I have to find a way to connect my headphones to it. I have a cheap lightning to USB-A adapter. To convert that to a USB-C, I'm using this adapter. And the final piece is this USB-C to 3.5mm audio adapter. Right now, these three are necessary for me to have an audio output from my iPhone. In this setup, I'm using this 3.5mm phone headphones. It's quite inexpensive. It's not the best audio quality. It's probably less than 15 grams. And as this is the most basic setup that we have, I think it's a good fit just to practice by ourselves. Now I connected my headphones too. And what I have in my hand right now is enough to DJ. Since we don't have any other equipment, is to first enable split output. Let's say you can play from your left ear to your right ear, because one of the earbuds will be used for pre-cue and the other earbud will be used as your master output. So this way you can practice by yourself while still having 2 different outputs. To be able to do that, you need to go to audio settings, audio devices, and to have pre-cue, you just need to go to second drop down and click split output. One of your ears, as I mentioned, will be pre-cue, the other will be master. So my left ear is my master output at this moment. If I press the Q button, I will be able to hear it in my right ear. And my right ear right now is my pre-cue. This way you can actually practice beat matching between your right ear and left ear. And this should already give you a really good setup if you want to DJ on the bus, DJ on the plane, just by yourself for the practice purposes. I think this is a really valuable tool, especially when you're beginning your DJing journey. Okay, so in this tier, in our most minimal setup, we have the phone, we have a USB-C sound output, some insignificant adapters, and we have our basic earphones. Here's the list of items used in this setup and the total cost of them, but that's just an approximation. Now let's move on with the tier 2. Tier 2 mobile DJ setup, proper cue. We still have our phone. We will still use the touch controls on the screen. We will add a speaker to this setup, one additional splitter cable. Let's go through what we have. We have the lightning adapter, we have the USB-C adapter to convert the lightning to USB-C. We have the USB-C to 3.5mm audio output. After this setup, before we connect our headphones or earphones, we have this cable, which is called a DJ splitter cable. In this case, this is a tractor DJ splitter cable, and this one, it just came with my controller. They both serve the same purpose. This will take your stereo audio output, convert them to mono outputs, and one of them will go to your speaker and the other one will go to your earpods. My headphones are ready. Right now, this is a left and right. We still have split output, but in this case, I will hear the sound coming from both of them at the same time, but it will be a mono signal. And I have this tiny speaker. The whole setup is super light. I'm still gonna use the touch functions. And this is a Bluetooth speaker and it's obviously battery powered. But as I mentioned in the beginning, we will not use any of the Bluetooth functions. What matters in this case, if you're gonna buy a speaker to use with your mobile DJ setup, it has to have an aux input. This is really important. I will also need an aux cable, which is 3.5 millimeters to 3.5 millimeter, really basic cable. You can find it everywhere. Now I connect it to my speaker output. You can already hear the sounds. This is the master output right now. And in this case, even if I play the second deck, you will not hear anything from the speaker. You will only hear the master output. This is the good thing about splitter cable. This is a better setup because in this setup, you will be able to properly separate your cue from your master output. So you don't need to mix between left and right ears. You will be able to separate the audio from your earphones to a speaker, which will also let your friends enjoy your music if you have anyone around. So let's see what we have here and estimate the cost. We have the same setup, a phone, some adapters to connect the USB-C adapter, a DJ splitter cable, earphones, an aux cable, and the speaker. And here's the list and the total cost of these items. Tier 3 setup, proper controls. We still have the phone, all the adapters needed to get a proper audio output. Speaker and the headphones are separated. Now to have the maximum comfort, we will add a controller in this mix, no pun intended. And this way, we don't have to use the touch screen unless we really want to. There are some things that you would still benefit from using the touch controls. You can use the touch screen to add additional effects or to have more granular loop controls if you want to. In this case, I'm using a Hercules Control DJ Mix Ultra. This is a wireless battery-powered controller. It doesn't have a sound output. It doesn't have an audio card in itself. That's why we are still using the adapters to get the sound out from the phone. The good thing is that it comes with its own stand. If you flip the deck saver around, you can use the dedicated part as your phone stand. Now this is the setup. A phone, adapters necessary to get the sound out, earphones, and the speaker. Right now the controller is in the pairing mode. I will go to the menu, connect Bluetooth, DJ hardware, DJ Control Mix Ultra is found, it's connected. As I mentioned, all the output is still coming from the speaker and the headphones straight from the mobile device that you are using. At no point this device will serve as an audio output. They don't have to be connected together. If it's more comfortable, you can use a separate stand. I like to use them together. It also gives a nice standalone feeling. Now that everything is connected, only thing I need to do is to start DJing. Very portable setup, very easy to set up, especially if you leave all your cables connected. Only thing you need to do is to connect one adapter and make sure that your controller is on and Bluetooth is connected to your phone. That's it. And now here's the list of the items used in this setup and the estimated cost. A phone, adapters for the output, DJ splitter cable, headphones, a Bluetooth speaker, an aux cable, Control Mix Ultra, and here's the total cost of this setup. The Tier 4 setup, better sound. In this setup, we will instead use an iPad. This is to increase the comfort and the amount of controls we have. Also, you don't need to squint and get close to your device. You can actually be distant because the screen will be much larger. And at the same time, you can set up in the hardware mode to give you additional controls, as I mentioned in the previous tier, and do more while you're mixing because the screen surface is much bigger. I will use a setup to adjust the iPad to my liking. In this case, I don't like to put the iPad on the controller because it's already very big and it's a bit unbalanced because it's a heavier device. Also this way, I can set up the whole thing closer to my face, bigger screen, big controls. I find it much more comfortable to DJ this way. My iPad still doesn't have an audio output, so I will still have to use this USB-C to 3.5mm audio jack to have sound output. My controller, Control Mix Ultra, is already connected using Bluetooth, DJ splitter cable. But this time, since this is better audio, with this setup, you can actually entertain some people, make them dance. But of course, it comes as a cost. But in terms of the money you need to spend, also the weight and amount of items that you need to carry. I will use my bigger speakers for this setup. I think it's 80 watts, which is roughly 4 to 5 times louder than my previous speakers that you have seen in the previous tier. You can play it in a park or a house party, and it will be sufficient enough if you need to party with 20, 25, maybe 30 people. Now the speakers are connected, but this time I will use a much better pair of headphones, which is Sennheiser HD25, 10 times more expensive than the previous earphones. But as a result, you will get a much better audio quality, a much better sound isolation. I have to say that it's kind of totally overkill for a mobile setup, but at the same time, if you already have one, it rarely gets better than that. Now everything is connected and ready to DJ. 95% of the cases, this is the end game setup around Control Mix Ultra. You don't need more than that. As I mentioned in the beginning, you don't need a sound card. This setup is ready to have a party with your friends. Wherever you can take these devices, you can have a party there, whether it's the beach or the forest or just a house party. It's up to you. Obviously, it's much more expensive. First of all, we have an iPad. That already increased the cost quite a bit compared to the phone that you already have. And the other pieces in this setup is a bigger speaker. Depending on what you buy and how much sound you want to get out of it, it can be anywhere between 100 euros to 1000 euros or more. And obviously the headphones, which is quite high quality, professional grade DJ headphones. Overkill for this kind of setup. If you want the best output regardless of where you're playing, this is what you can get, but just know that it will increase the cost significantly. One thing to note that is regardless of what speaker you're using or what pair of headphones you're carrying, you will still get mono output from your DJ setup because of the DJ splitter cable in between and the limitations around it. This is how split output works, unfortunately. Let's give a rundown, check the items and the estimated cost of this setup. An iPad, a USB-C adapter for the sound output, a splitter cable, better headphones, in this case Sennheiser HD25s, an iPad stand, Control Mix Ultra, and bigger and louder speakers. In my case, it's Soundcore Motion Boom Plus. And here's the total cost of this setup. Everything is already here. This is perfectly capable to have a house party. You don't need more than this, except our next tier, tier 5, endurance. There are a few things that you need to change in this setup to play much longer, especially if you have DJ friends, you want to play until morning. There are a few things you need to add here, then you can do back-to-backs in this tiny setup and you can play possibly for an entire day. I'm gonna need to add a power bank, but since our USB-C is already occupied by this audio output adapter, I won't be able to get the audio out and charge it at the same time. This is a limitation of the setup, but to get around that, I can use something else. This is a USB-C dock. It has multiple USB inputs, a 3.5mm sound output, and the most importantly, USB-C power delivery, power through input. Now I can replace my USB-C sound output adapter with this one. I connected my sound output to this adapter instead. Now I need a USB-C cable. I connect it to the power delivery output of the power bank. I connect the USB-C to the input, and right now my iPad is charging. This power bank has the capacity of 20,000 milliamp hour. It can charge the iPad 1.5 times to 2 times from 0 to 100. Do you need that? You probably don't, because this speaker can run up to 24 hours. That's plenty of time to DJ. It's a very long party. You can DJ with an iPad up to 6-7 hours. Control Mix Ultra can last up to 10 hours. So 10 hours, 20 hours, 6 hours. In this setup, I can technically DJ anywhere between 12 to 15 hours, which is probably already beyond my physical limits. But if you need to maximize the duration of the party, and if you have some other DJs to step in, probably you need this setup for the maximum endurance. And now here's the items that we use in this setup and the estimated cost. An iPad, a powered USB hub, a DJ splitter cable, an iPad stand, pair of headphones, an aux cable to get the audio out, Control Mix Ultra, a USB-C cable, a power bank, a big and powerful and loud Bluetooth speaker. And here's the total cost of this setup. To sum all up, what you need to know. First of all, in any of these cases, you will use a DJ splitter cable. Your sound output will always be mono. Unless you use a different device which has 4 or more outputs, you won't be able to use stereo output for your devices. But in that case, considering the amount of money you're gonna spend, I think it's a more sensible decision to buy a controller with a sound card built in. I'm putting that aside. Another thing you might need to know is to leave your cables connected to each other. This helps because you only need to carry 4 or 5 cables. In most cases, it's less than that. If you leave them connected to each other, it will let you set up everything much faster. The second of all is that you will minimize the chances of losing or forgetting one of the cables. Third, put your phone in Do Not Disturb mode. If you're not streaming with your phone or the DJ app, put it on airplane mode as well. This really helps to not get distractions, the chance of your notifications being out in the master channel. You don't want to ruin the music. If you're recording something, you don't want to do that. Also, you don't want to distract anyone dancing. If you receive a notification, just to keep it simple, put it on do not disturb mode, and when you can, put it in airplane mode as well. 4. Bluetooth connection issues. Probably 90% of the cases you will use a Bluetooth speaker with an aux input. Bluetooth speaker means that you probably already have a Bluetooth device connected to it. If you leave them connected to each other, let's say I'm DJing with the iPad, I'm using the aux cable, sound is coming straight from the aux input of the speaker. If my phone is connected, in some cases, some devices, when they are connected, they prioritize the Bluetooth connection over the wired connection. And for a moment that you receive that call, the Bluetooth connection of your phone steals the audio from your DJ setup. If you're gonna use a Bluetooth speaker, just forget it. It's really easy to connect it again. Don't risk ruining your set or ruining your song or ruining your vibes. 5. Know your Bluetooth speakers. Some Bluetooth speakers have announcement, especially when the battery is low. In the middle of your set, if your Bluetooth battery is low, it will announce the battery percentage and it will stop your song in the middle of it. You're gonna lose 20-25 seconds and it might just ruin the vibe. You don't wanna do that. Know when your Bluetooth speaker is gonna announce something. If you can, turn off these announcements. Also, some Bluetooth speakers give you a very audible connection warning. They are oftentimes very loud and they also interrupt the music. So make sure your Bluetooth speaker is charged, that it's not gonna announce anything. There's also processing in these Bluetooth speakers. In most cases, for instance, if you wanna increase the bass, if it has any kind of equalizer setting, the smart setting that you set up, or onboard equalizer, some of these speakers have some processing built in to get a better sound out from the small speakers. In those cases, this might add latency. It's not gonna be huge amount of latency, but it's gonna be there. So just because you're using the aux input and wired connection doesn't mean that you are getting rid of all the possible latency. Last thing that you might need to know, depending on what speaker you're using, some Bluetooth speakers, even if you connect them using the cable, they still try to search a Bluetooth connection. So they keep themselves in pairing mode. After a certain time, they have a timeout, let's say 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, they give you a signal to let you know that the Bluetooth connection and the pairing mode is disabled. And this is again an audible warning. And if you already start playing, you are probably in the 4th song in your set list. It's gonna drop for 20 seconds and you will get this Bluetooth connection dropped warning. Make sure you get to know your Bluetooth speaker before you take on a house party. 6. This is probably the final thing I can share as my experience. Play with the knobs to reset them and bring them to the center, and the software, before you start playing anything, registered all your control inputs, all the position that might be set in a different position than 0 in the software. If you move them a little bit and bring them to center again, especially your pitch faders, this will minimize the chances of your physical controls and your software controls being offset. Anyway, this is all there is for today. I don't have more setup to show you around these devices, but I think whatever you want to do with your friends, by yourself, at the beach, in a forest, I think this is already a very good setup. It should give you plenty of music, plenty of dancing for a little weight that you need to carry and not a lot of money to spend. In my previous video, I shown how this entire setup can fit in my bum bag. So technically, I can DJ anywhere. You just need to run the app, connect the cable, and you are ready to DJ, which is pretty fantastic considering how light and inexpensive this is compared to a different DJ setup. Of course, there are limitations like the sound quality. You probably won't notice, but it's there. This is not a club setup. I think it should be obvious. For any kind of house party, forest party, this is plenty of setup. And in any case, the most important thing is your set list, your songs. What you play and how you play it matters more than the equipment that you use. As long as you have a decent sound and a little bit of bass, I think your friends will be happy. Everybody will be dancing. Just make sure that your set list is good, and devices oftentimes matter less, especially if you're playing in a casual setting. Please let me know if I forgot to add something, if you would do this setup in a different way, if you would use a different device instead of the devices that I have. If you have any other tips to add to have a better mobile setup and what people should know before they start DJing or preparing a mobile set. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments and I will try my best to respond to them. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I will try to address them in the next video. That was it for today. Thank you for watching and have fun DJing somewhere remote.